Everyone, and welcome to Metagame Mastery, where it's not just about what the card does, but how it impacts the game. Where the Spark preview season is going into its second week now, and Rao Storm Conduit is bringing an infinite damage combo to Standard. If you enjoy this content, click that subscribe button so you get access to all our latest videos. Without further ado, big time, go time. Let's go. First, we're going to take a look at some late previews from Friday night. We have Heartfire. It's 2 CMC, 1 colorless, and red for an instant. It's an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature or planeswalker. It deals 4 damage to any target. This card's really good. This card is really good in Limited, and it will definitely see play in Standard. It could even see play beyond that. But for 2 mana, you're getting the ability to negate your opponent's removal spell that would gain them life by causing its target to be removed at instant speed, sack, outlet, and you get to deal 4 damage. Great way to get rid of a depleted planeswalker or a creature that's about to die in combat. Just go ahead and turn around and deal some big damage. Great card. Evolution Sage is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a green for a 3/2 Elf Druid. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, proliferate. We've been waiting a long time for this, but here we have it. Proliferate on a landfall trigger. Be amazed, folks. This thing's outstanding. It'll be fine in Limited. I don't know if it's going to see any Standard play. It really depends on whether or not major +1/+1 counter deck moves into the format. But in EDH, this is an instant staple in Azuri decks, in Atraxa decks, in Lord Windgrace decks. This thing is outstanding. Challenger Troll is 5 CMC, 4 colorless, and a green for a 6/5 troll. Each creature you control with power 4 or greater can't be blocked by more than one creature. Yet again, rewarding us for our +1/+1 counter synergies in this format. This is a really solid limited card, and it's got great stats for limited, being a 6/5, 4/5 with additional upside. Eternal Skylord is 5 CMC, 4 colorless, and a blue for a 3/3 zombie wizard. When it enters the battlefield, amass 2, and zombie tokens you control have flying. This thing's outstanding. First, in Limited, you're getting great value. You're paying 5 mana to get 5 power toughness on the board. In addition to that, you are granting evasion to your zombie army. And in Eternal formats, you're granting evasion to all of your zombie tokens. Scarab God instantly loves this. Gisa and Droth love this card. This card's going to be absolutely nuts in Commander. Rolesk, Apex Hybrid, is confirmed from the leaks that we saw last week. He's 5 CMC, 2 colorless, 2 green, and a blue for a 4/5 legendary human mutant with flying and trample. When he enters the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control. When he dies, proliferate twice. This thing is beyond sick and limited. You're getting 5 CMC for a 4/5 flying trample. That in and of itself is great, but you're distributing 2 +1/+1 counters on it, and then when it dies, not only are you potentially doubling those 2 +1/+1 counters, but you can also get additional value for anything else you have on the board that has counters on it. This thing is nuts. Mina's Transmutation is 2 CMC, 1 colorless, and a blue for an enchantment or an enchanted creature. Loses all abilities and has base power toughness 1/1. This is just really solid removal. This is really good in Limited, only costing 2 mana to completely negate the effectiveness of an opponent's creature. And in Commander, locking down an opponent's commander so they get absolute 0 value from it while it's in play, and preventing it from going back to their command zone. And here we have a brand new Planeswalker. Mina, Enigmatic Mentor, is 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and a blue for a legendary Planeswalker with a starting loyalty of 5. Spells your opponents cast that target a creature or Planeswalker you control cost 2 more to cast, and she has a -2 ability. create a 2/2 blue wizard creature token, draw a card, then discard a card. This card's great. It's going to play really well in limited, protecting whatever board state you've managed to establish, and it creates tokens to protect itself while providing you with virtual card advantage, all of which is really solid. And in Commander, this is going to play really well with Wizard decks. Feather the Redeemed is 3 CMC, 1 red, and 2 white for a 3/4 legendary angel with flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature you control, exile that card instead of putting it into your graveyard as it resolves. If you do, return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. This card is beyond solid. First, let's look at limited. This is going to play really well, just getting you great value, being a 3/4 for only 3 mana with flying, and an ability that's going to interact really positively with your combat tricks. And of course, this was the preview card on the command zone, where this introduces an interesting new style of gameplay into Commander, where you get a ton of potential card advantage off of combat tricks, which normally don't see a lot of play in Commander. This card is going to play really well with another very popular commander, Zada Hedron Grinder, while bringing into the fold a lot of white's very powerful combat tricks. Turret Ogre is 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and red for a 4/3 Ogre Warrior with Reach. When it enters the battlefield, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. Just a really solid value card for limited. You're paying 4 mana for a 4/3 with upside, blocking all those pesky evasive flyers. And on top of that, if you have +1/+1 counters, or if you even have another one of these in play already, you get additional value by shocking your opponent. All around, solid card. Solar Blaze is 4 CMC, 2 colorless, a red and a white for a sorcery. Each creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. So this is exactly the same effect as a card we already know and love, Wave of Reckoning. It costs 1 CMC less, but it also has red in its casting cost. That's the part that really gets me, because I don't see where this card fits in to EDH. It definitely doesn't go where Wave of Reckoning does, because none of the Toughness Matter decks run red. That said, this will be a fine addition to Jeskai Control and Standard, and it can potentially be a one-sided board wipe if played right in Limited. Parhelion 2 is 8 CMC, 6 colorless, and 2 white for a 5/5 legendary artifact vehicle with flying, first strike, and vigilance. Whenever it attacks, create 2 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance that are also attacking. It has a crew cost of 4. This card is outstanding. It's an absolute bomb in limited. You get, for 8 mana, and you do have to crew it, you get to attack in the air for 13 damage. That's sick. And you can hold it back as blockers. On top of all that, not only is it generating more bodies, but each of those bodies can pay its crew cost if anything happens to your other creatures. This thing is phenomenal. Also, it's going to fit in perfectly in Commander. What an absolute beast. Rahl's Outburst is 4 CMC, 2 colorless, a blue and a red for an instant. It deals 3 damage to any target. Look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. So in limited, this is outstanding. It's potential removal for an early game threat, finishing off your opponent's commander, or just finishing off your opponent, and on top of that, it replaces itself with some virtual card advantage on top of everything else. This is a super solid card. I don't know that it'll see play outside of that format, but when you're drafting, be sure to snatch this thing up quick. Bolt Bend is 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and a red for an instant. This spell costs 3 less to cast if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Change the target of target spell or ability with a single target. This card is so good, allowing you to redirect spells for only 1 mana if you have a 4 or greater creature in play. It rewards you for playing with +1/+1 counters, or it rewards you for just having something big, like, I don't know, Niv Mizzet is going to love this card. Rahl Storm Conduit is 4 CMC, 2 colorless, a blue, and a red for a legendary Planeswalker with a starting loyalty of 4. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, he deals 1 damage to target opponent or Planeswalker. He has a +2 ability of Scry 1. He has a -2 ability. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for that copy. So this card was part of the leaks last week. It is now confirmed, and it is sick. It's already got people looking to brew for standard because it's going to make a huge splash. This storm ability that he has, as a static ability, is super powerful, and it creates a potential infinite damage combo in standard. All you need is him on the board and 2 copies of Expansion Explosion, specifically the expansion half of this card. You get any target, whether it be one of your own or your opponent's instant or sorcery. You expansion once, you expansion copying the expansion, and all of a sudden you create an infinite loop of endless copies of expansion. Each time you copy it, his static ability deals 1 damage to your opponent, nixing him off the board. Well, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this content, click that subscribe button so you get access to all our latest videos. This has been Metagame Mastery. Peace!